What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Not Just Football with me, your host, number 97 Pittsburgh Steelers, Cam Heyward. Thank you guys for coming back. And guess what? It's our 8th episode. I can't believe we made this far. But Hayden, how you think we're doing?
8. It's crazy, man. I can't believe it's been 2 months. I think we're doing pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad so far. So excited to get going into what happened in the first week of preseason. But before we start, fill us in. How was Monday Night Raw last night? What was it like hanging out with the guys?
It was fun. We got to see a showing of Monday Night Raw. We got to meet some wrestlers. I think we met Rey Mysterio's son and Bobby Lashley. I also got to meet Stephanie McMahon. But it was fun to just take some of the guys out. They got us on camera. They have a picture of me looking shocked when the guy hit the wall because I had my nachos in my hand. I didn't want to knock those over. But there was another video of us hanging out, me doing the John Cena face. You can't see me. And then my brother just looking uncomfortable like he always does.
Yeah, Connor was a deer in headlights, and nice job saving the nachos. I'm really proud of you, and always save every drop. They're very nice. Let's get into the preseason, the final week of the preseason, Cam. You got some playing time this week, which was happy to see. How'd you feel about your performance, your unit's performance, and just overall how the game go?
I felt pretty good about it. I think it's always good to knock off that rust from, all those training camps and all that time off to get some real reps in preseason, whether it was run or pass, just being ready for those moments. I appreciate that time. You get to work on different things communication-wise. You get to be surprised by plays that you haven't practiced. It was good. You always want to win these games, no matter what time it is, no matter if it's a preseason game, a regular season game, you always want to win, just because you can grow from that. You can say, hey, we did these things right to win the game, but there are always things we can work on. One play that really sticks out to mind is the 3rd and 17 draw, which we knew they were, more than capable of doing, but they had shown a lot on film, especially from last year. We call it a lot of give-up football because we should dominate that play, but we didn't. They were able to set up the play, get it up the middle, and then veer off to his right. So we got to clean that up. As a defense, that was one play that was very glaring on the tape.
Yeah, and that was one play I was going to ask you about, so I'm glad you mentioned it. That was one play we had to talk about. Just a bonehead play, really, on the defensive side. But other than that play, how do you feel you guys did against the run? It's been really a big topic of discussion all camp. How are you guys going to handle the run defense this year?
Run defense has got to improve. I think we have the right guys in mind. You get guys healthier. Obviously having Tyson Alualu back is huge. Bringing a guy like Larry Ogunjobi, Miles Jack, these guys are made to stop the run and get after the passer, but we need everybody to be healthy, but also we need everybody to just execute well. That's where we fell short last year. I take it personally when we don't stop the run, because if you don't stop the run, you can't get after the pass. You want to make a team one-dimensional, and if they have to pass the ball, then we can really get cooking with gas. So that's the first step. Obviously, we had one glaring play that has to be cleaned up yesterday. But I'm looking forward to getting after week one.
Yeah, speaking of week one, what does the preparation look like now leading forward? Obviously, you have like a little bit of a bye week this week. What's the preparation look like for Cincinnati going forward now?
I think we're really using this week to clean up the mistakes from the game. It'd be one thing. I think sometimes this game in the past, because we've had those 4 preseasons, once this preseason, the 4th preseason was usually over, you move on to your next team because you're already in the next week. This has given us some time to just clean up those mistakes again to make sure we really hit home. And then, next week, I plan on taking on some homework over the weekend to make sure I just get a early start on the Bengals. But, it's getting about that time to get rolling. We have the AFC champions next week. We're going into their home, the Jungle, but I'm looking forward to it. This is a good test, a great way to get out the gate.
Yeah, is that one of the reasons why you guys did play so much in that third preseason game? It felt like a lot of starters were out there, I believe, into the second quarter. Was it to get maybe some things on tape so you could know what you need to clean up before week one?
Yeah, I think that I've always been a proponent. You need some type of work in some time of these preseason games. Is it going to be perfect? No. But that's what the preseason for is to clean up those mistakes before you get into some real time ball. Obviously, everybody's fighting for a spot, and guys have to, put their best foot forward and showcase their talents. Obviously, it doesn't always work out that way. But that game has determined a lot of who makes the team, and guys just knocking out the rust, trying to get ready for the season.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned what this week means too. Is it's obviously cut down day to day, the day we're recording this. What is that week like, even for a veteran who knows he's going to be on the team? Is it difficult for you as well?
It's tough because I've bonded with these guys for over, since May. You spend off-season workouts and OTAs, and then leads to training camp where it's over a month. You really start to bond with these guys, and these guys. A lot of people don't realize how much they dedicate to their craft and trying to get better. It's tough. We as players only think about we as fans only think about the guys who make it, but there are tons of guys who don't make it, and there's a lot of good talent that gets left behind. Even if you don't make the 53, you're fighting for the 16-man practice squad, and that's a job that is a very, very selfless job.
One thing I've always wanted to ask you about, we've never actually talked about, was like you see these horrible things on Hard Knocks, and I think you mentioned it a few weeks ago, but where like we watch a guy get cut. Is that how it is in real life, to where like if you're in the facility, are you avoiding anybody who could get cut because you're like, I don't want to watch them like get cut?
Obviously you never want to watch anybody get cut. I've only been with one team, and so I've seen guys wait at the front, whether it's scouts or people in the front office that have to clean up, or not clean up, but have to do the job of cutting players. It's unfortunate, but it's never like it's portrayed on Hard Knocks, where they bring you up to the room and basically figuratively undress you and tell you what you've done wrong, tell you why you didn't make the team. That's kind of heartbreaking to me when I would see that on Hard Knocks. But sometimes it's, hey, we would love to bring you back on the practice squad, but we don't think you're going to make it through the waiver wire, because you're such a good player. We just, might have got bumped because we have so many players at your position. Sometimes it becomes a numbers game, and it sucks because there's so many guys rewarded or deservingly of that position. And it's not a perfect process, but it's the process that has to be made to, make forward a good team.
Have you ever had a cut that you maybe thought hurt team chemistry by the team letting a certain player go?
Man. I don't know if there's a cut that really sticks out. I will say my rookie year, because those are the guys you come in with, and you are just trying to find your way, and then you start to see guys get cut around you, and you're like, man, this is different. Like I was never used to this. I've never been the guy who becomes used to guys getting cut. That's just not me. I remember hearing about the vets of old. They were that way, so they wouldn't learn each other's name. They wouldn't learn the young guys' names until they made the roster, because you didn't want to attach yourselves and create a bond that would hurt you. It's tough, man. The guys that do get cut, it's not an easy process. I wish them all the best, and I want to see those guys still shining on Sundays. Like Coach T always tells us, like, just because you don't make it here doesn't mean you can't play in the NFL. What you put on tape is your walking, talking, breathing resume, and people have to look at it across the league. And, if you're playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's a lot of teams watching, so you always want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah. So speaking of that, any big names that you saw were cut today, or any names that you made me like, wow, I can't believe you got cut?
Man, you look at a guy like Tony Jefferson. I've had a lot of respect for him in his time at Baltimore. Obviously, they drafted Kyle Hamilton, brought in some different guys from other places, but I just thought he was a sound player. He's one of those guys that, you can't carry as many safeties as you want, and the guy is producing at a high level. You want to give him an opportunity to make it with another team. But, you can say the case for, every team's got that guy. It's like, man, I wish I could hold on to him, but it's tough. I'm always proud of all the D linemen we play with, whether it's the Davis twins or a guy like Henry Mondu who, gained some weight this past year to, play the nose tackle position, and then you see him get cut. But our room is pretty deep, and it's not easy. So, you're hoping those guys come back some way, but you just never know.
Yeah, being a guy who's obviously there in practice every day, how often are you shocked by a certain player that gets cut? Is it very often?
I'm always shocked. I never know when those things are happening. I don't like to count sheep or line my ducks in a row and try to play the numbers game because if one guy's showing out one day, the next day another guy is. I don't get paid to scout, but I get paid to play. And, a lot of those guys that come to training camp, I go to war with because they bring it to practice. There's energy there. I would, I'd fight tooth and nail for him.
Yeah, and obviously it sucks getting cut. But one thing I do want to recognize before we end this conversation is we got to give credit to a 6th-round pick for the Steelers who made the team, Connor Heyward. How proud are you as a big brother to see him make the team? Because a 6th-round pick is not always guaranteed to make the roster, and Connor had to really earn that spot.
It's very hard because, the 6th round, nothing's given to you. Obviously, we've had some really great 6th-rounders here, but you have to continue to work. And, I am very proud of that kid. Don't ever get it wrong. I am very proud of him. But that's a spot where you have to continue to keep fighting throughout the entire year. You have to continue to produce. This league is about guys that produce at a high level on a consistent basis. And, man, they're going to judge him every week. And I'm going to be his biggest fan, and I'm going to make sure he does what he can. But we got some work to do, and I'm glad to have him week 1.
Yeah, man. Really proud of him and really happy he made the roster, and I know he's worked his tail off. So I know you were proud, and I know Mom and everybody's proud. So great job, Connor.
Yeah, he did okay. It was funny. Before the game, my mom was at the game with a couple other rookie moms, and she was like, do you mind, I think she told one of our player personnel guys, do you mind getting Cam and Connor together before the game to take a picture in their jerseys? And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like, Connor was just like, why is she asking me? And I'm like, that's not happening. Just focus on football. And I'm like, I think she thinks like this is like a high school game where like you can do that. But I'm like, Mom, like, relax. Like, we got a game to focus on. And, he wanted to be locked in for the game. So, we'll take a picture after 4.
Wow. So you overruled your mom on a picture for her 2 sons.
We stay locked in. Heyward boys stay locked in for games. Don't ever get that twisted.
All right. So we can't get a photo before games this year. Nobody can get a photo before the game.
You better go take pictures of the Acrisure sign instead of the Heinz Field sign. So there's plenty of other stuff to do. All right. Enough talk about NFL football. Let's move on to the young boys, college football. Hayden, what's going on?
First off, I don't think that people understand what it took for you to get into that jersey. I hope you can bring that up. That thing is toy like a tiger. I'm sorry for the people listening. That is toy like a tiger on you.
This is way, like it's about way more than I do in my NFL jersey, so we good.
If you could Hulk Hogan rip that thing off, that thing is like tattooed to your body right now, okay?
Don't be
Like,
jealous. You
it's
see that?
toy.
You see that?
It,
See that?
it's toy. It's toy. You lost that game, by the way, too. You got there,
Wait,
but you lost.
this is one of the games. Oh yeah, I have like 4 jerseys that I beat Michigan in, so it doesn't really matter which one I put on.
And that's fine, but I'll go back to a statement from Cam Heyward. Specialty is you're only as good as your
Uh,
last game. And Ohio State has not beaten Michigan in over 1,000 days. Just going to leave it at that. Let's get into this weekend, though. College football. Ohio State has another big game coming up this week against Notre Dame. How do you see that going this week against your old teammate, too, by the way, right?
Man, Marcus Freeman, I played with him my freshman and sophomore year. We all knew he was destined to be a head coach at some point. We never thought it was going to be in Notre Dame, though. He's got them on the map again. I think they're ranked 5th. But, man, I got to say, Coach Day, it's time to get it done. We're ranked number 2 for a reason. It's a 5-star matchup because we're in it. And so Ohio State's got to get it done, man. I look at the road, and we should be on that road all the way.
Yeah, 17.5-point favorites. I mean, obviously, I think Freeman's writing that down too. Any other games this weekend, though, that really draw up the interest? I mean, I got West Virginia, Pitt, LSU, FSU, Utah's heading to Florida, Oregon versus Georgia. What else do you like this weekend?
I don't know if I like any of the games, but like, how excited are we about the Pitt, West Virginia backyard brawl being back in Pittsburgh? Like, that is a classic game. I miss the Big East games where you would have the Pitt versus West Virginia. The Pitt versus Rutgers, you don't even get anymore. I miss those Big East games. It's a callback. They should always play each other. But, both teams have different quarterbacks now. Obviously, Kenny Pickett's gone, so you have Slovis there at quarterback. And then at West Virginia, you pick up a guy from USC and JT Daniels. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do, too.
I would say this. The people from the states you grew up in would also like to say JT Daniels was also at the University of Georgia, too, right? He was the University of Georgia quarterback, too. So
He was. But, I don't mention too much of Georgia anymore.
Well, how do you see them playing this week? They're obviously a really highly ranked team as well, playing Oregon. I believe that game is in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. How do you see Georgia playing the defending national champs?
It's going to be interesting because Oregon's got a different way of doing things. They stole our offensive line coach at Oregon now. But UGA, I want to see, how do you replace all that talent you lost? Obviously, you still have some guys up front on the defensive line, but, man, it wasn't just defensive line you lost. You lost guys in your linebacking group, but you lost Pickens as well. And then, how do you replace all that and make sure you're worthy of being a national contender this year?
Okay, well, let's get into a little bit of prediction game here. Give me your Final Four. Who will be standing there? We're going to use this again, by the way, in December to see how wrong we both were. Who do you got in the Final Four? And, let's hear it.
I'm going to say, Ohio State, obviously, Utah. Actually, I don't know. Utah and Oregon, it's going to be interesting between those two teams. Obviously, Alabama. Give me Utah, and then, man, Notre Dame gets hurt by playing us so early. Give me Clemson. I'll say Clemson steps it up this year. The dark horse is Miami, though. Miami is the team on the rise that nobody's talking about.
Ohio State, Utah, Bama, and Clemson.
Yes.
That's what you got. Man, there is no – Utah's losing week 1 at Florida.
I'm not sold on Florida. I'm never sold.
It's just a tough game, man. It's a tough game. They're going across country to play in the swamp. They're going to lose that game. I'm calling it. Utah's out week 1. That list is done week 1.
It hasn't been the swamp in forever. It's like a pond now.
No.
It's not the swamp anymore.
We can agree to disagree on that. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Bama, UGA, Michigan, and USC to get into the Final Four. Michigan goes into Columbus, wins in Columbus this year. It's 2 straight. It'll be over 1,000 days. It already is over 1,000 days since Ohio State has beaten Michigan. So, yeah.
How can you think Michigan's going to win? They lost all their talent.
They did not lose all their talent. It just shows me how little you know about college football. You've been working too hard. They did not lose all their talent. Listen. They lost some talent. They rebuild, okay? They return, I believe, 9 of 11 starters on offense. They return arguably the best offensive line in the country. All the skill guys are back. They got 2 quarterbacks that can play. You just don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, now we have 2 quarterbacks that can play. That's a cop-out for not picking a quarterback.
No, it's called NIL and transfers, that where if you don't play them both, one is easily going to leave, so that you play them both. Also, both those quarterbacks, I believe, led a team that scored 42 points on Ohio State last year and ran for over like 300 yards on them.
Who do you have winning it all?
Oh, Bama. Bama's going to win it all. Not even a question. Bama's going to win it all. Y'all don't play enough defense anymore, man.
Why would Bama win?
Because they're the best team.
What do they have?
They have arguably the 2 best players in the country, Bryce Young and Will Anderson. Not even a question.
I don't even know if Bryce Young – I understand he won the Heisman last year, and, rightfully so. But I don't know if he's one of the best players coming back this year.
What? And I'd also say this too. You're talking about what you lost, acting like Ohio State did not lose a ton of pieces this past year too.
They didn't.
They lost 2 first-round receivers, did they not?
And we got 2 more coming.
Oh, so why can't Michigan do that?
So who's replacing Hutchinson? Tell me that.
I mean, you're not going to replace that kind of production.
I like that one. I like that.
Who's replacing Garrett Wilson or Olave? Who's replacing Garrett Wilson or Olave?
Najigba? Are we going to act like
that's one, and we knew about him. Who's replacing the other 2?
Marvin Harrison Jr.?
So if Marvin Harrison goes as high as either of those 2, we'll have the conversation. But until then, I don't want to hear he's just going to replace them.
Okay.
Listen, can we please make sure that we are together when this game is played and we can simulcast it for the people to watch it together, okay? Or even we go. Get us tickets and let's go, okay?
I might just have to put this on. You remember seeing this, all these W's. You see all these Buckeyes right here? You know how I got these?
By eating a sandwich. They hand them out like candy there.
By kicking Michigan's tail.
No.
And that's what we're going to do this year.
No. It's like I woke up at 9 o'clock. I get a Buckeye.
No. You see that? Yes. And I got a big head, so I had to do something right. So shoot.
Explain how guys that never play have their helmets full.
Never play. They play special teams, man. They all get it done, bro. Everybody gets them for the wins. It's a team sport, dude. It can't just be because you did your job right. It's because everybody did their job.
All right. Have it here. Buckeye stickers are participation trophies.
Yeah, right. I don't see you on the roster. I don't see you on Michigan's roster.
I don't want to be. I'm 32 years old.
Blood, guts, and heart to play Ohio State. Moving on, off the college football talk, let's move back to the NFL talk. And tell me, have you seen anything that's been going on in the league, Hayden?
Yeah, we've had a few things going on. There's been Tom Brady news, obviously. Missed 11 days of training camp. I would love to hear how you feel about that as a guy who has been a veteran. Do you care about that if it's a guy like Tom Brady taking that much time?
Honestly, no. We all have a different journey and a different story. For me to criticize a guy for 11 days who's going to be locked in from day one, you don't know what's going on in his life. And for me to assume, I don't think that's right. But, you hope he's going to be ready to week 1. He's going to prepare like it. I just think sometimes, because it doesn't go as regularly scheduled for everybody, then it becomes, oh, man, this guy's not bought in. This guy's got a million things going on. Man, we all have lives. Things happen. And you just hope everything's going on outside of football.
Yeah, I think he summed it up best when he said, I'm 45 years old, man. There's a lot of going on, and I think everybody can relate to that. And I don't even have children, and I can't imagine what his life is like. So I understand what he's going through. So
yeah, we got to get you some kids. We get you some kids, and then you will see what's going on.
No, and I'm just curious, is there anybody else in the league that you think could actually get that 11 days though?
Man, I don't know who could get those 11 days. I don't think it has to be just because of seniority. Obviously, you think the guy's got to have a relationship with his team. But whatever's going on, I think it's about having communication, being honest and open. Sometimes you think you might be embarrassed to share that side, but if you're honest, open with your team and your organization about what's going on, and say, I have to do this or I need time for my family, so be it. I don't think anyone should complain as long as he's there week one.
I got another story I want to talk to you about. It's a little more serious. It's about Brian Robinson, the rookie from the Commanders, excuse me. Have you heard of this story?
I recently just heard the story. I remember getting a report on my phone and just being like, man, what just happened? It was an attempted carjacking and he got shot multiple times. Thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Obviously, he wants to be out there probably playing football, but man, health is the most important thing right now, and just hope he's all right. It's crazy. You never hope for any person or player to have to deal with that, but man, it's a wild world.
Yeah, really scary stuff. Good to hear that he seems to be okay. I think he made it out of surgery okay. I just wonder, as a team, how do you think they're dealing with that? Is it as easy just, hey, we got to move on, or what do you think as a team leader you need to do really to help the team get through it?
I think it's checking on him and his family. Obviously we have a little bit of time before the season. You would think their team is, rallying around him. The coaches have probably visited. The players have probably all visited. Everybody's just, got their thoughts and prayers with him. And then I don't know how bad his injuries are, but, just trying to get him healthy, making sure everything's working good and, can move forward. But you just tell your players, be safe out there, and make sure that, it's not like he was doing anything wrong. It's just wrong place, wrong time. And obviously you can't even prepare for something like that. So obviously it could happen to anyone, but man, it's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I do think they think he might be able to play again this season, which is really good news. Just scary situation. And glad to hear he's okay, man.
Yeah, we're wishing you the best, Brian Robinson. Hoping you get healthy. Hopefully we get to see you out there at some point. Don't rush it. Get healthy. And everybody's looking forward to seeing you. And that is another episode of Not Just Football. Hayden, how do you think we did today?
I think aside from our first take moment where we went at each other about Michigan and Ohio State for about a good 5 minutes, it was a pretty good episode. But we just yelled at each other a lot during that. So, yeah, other than that, I feel good about it.
Well, I feel good because O State's going to win this week, get this thing running, and prove to everybody they're right at having them number 2. We'll see you at number 1 sooner or later. It's been a great show. Thank you guys for tuning in to Not Just Football with me, and see you next time.